So it's just over 2 weeks to go now until round 2 of the British Gravel Championship at Thetford Forest. I missed round 1, Sherwood Pines, because I was actually away training in the Canaries. But from all accounts, it was a great race and it was packed. The older men's race is the one that I'll be in, the middle race of the day. That had 200 riders on the start line. Absolutely mad. And I'm looking forward to round 2, that's for sure. They have changed the course from the one that they used in October last year. I guess they wanted to take out a few of the choke points, a few narrow bits. There was quite a lot of twisty in there. It looks like they've took a few out. So I thought I'd come and check the course out, ride it and share it with you guys so that you can also see what to expect on the day. I'm expecting conditions out here to be pretty dry today. It drains well, so I don't think you'll need anything too extreme for the day. I'll give you a few pointers as we go round, things to look out for, where to be careful, and I'll let you know at the end what tyre pressures I was running and how I think they'll be. Right, let's get a helmet on and get out there and ride the course.
This is a full lap video, but what I've done on the straight sections of the lap, I have sped up the footage because otherwise you're going to have 30 minutes of raw footage, which nobody needs. So we come down the start finish straight. That's reasonably wide at the beginning, but as you can see, they have ploughed to the left and to the right, which drastically narrows it. So it is going to get narrower quite quickly at the start, and then it goes on to a right-hand turn, which is onto a gravel section, so you're going to have to be a little bit careful because you're going to carry some speed in there. Could be easy to slide out. This is quite a long smooth section of gravel before the left turn here, so you can make up quite a few places before taking the second exit there, taking a right turn into the first bit of single track. Now pretty much, yes, it is wide enough to overtake, but you're not going to be overtaken in here safely because there are trees around. You're going to go offline. It's going to be massively slower for you. So once in this section, you are pretty much just following, hopefully not behind anyone too slowly. But that is just pot luck of racing this course. But like I say, they have reduced a lot of the single track for this race. But it's quite a nice section. Quite well balanced. I'm not the most technical rider, but I can flow around here quite nicely. Certainly some riders with more skill will be able to carry more speed. There's a couple of berms there, some little humps, but nothing. I'm on a totally standard gravel bike, so nothing you can't ride quite normally. And you can see there I'm whipping along. Obviously footage is sped up, but little berms, little sections there. I mean, maybe you could sneak a past there where the track just splits, but it's very short, so you're going to struggle. And then we turn onto a grass section.
That tight bit of single track comes quite early on, so start is important. But if you do get held up, you're soon on a nice open bit and you can start working your way back through the field and make up some places.
Like I said, now you're on to some more open trails, 4 riders wide easily here. Nice smooth left-hand turn, again, plenty wide enough. Yes, if you are offline, it is a bit bumpier, but if you get the power down, you can make some good overtakes. This corner, again, nice wide. You can see we're on good wide trails. You can really start making up places if you had a bit of a bad start. Again, a bit ploughed if you cut this right-hand turn, but nothing too bad.
There is a bit of a breeze today, so it's definitely going to pay to find some wheels and work in a little group to work your way back up through the field.
And this gravel is really nice. You can really plough along on here and make up some serious time. And the boys with some watts can definitely get their power down. Again, right turn onto grass, so not too bad. Less risk of sliding out, I always feel, if you're turning onto grass rather than doing a turn where you're already on gravel, or turning from grass to gravel. That tends to be when people get a bit of a slide out. I just nearly missed the turn there. Obviously it's going to be marked on the day. You've got your Garmin route, but there'll be other people to follow. This will be well marshalled. Again, little turn, but not onto full gravel there. It's a bit tracky, so quite good. Again, you can see me jumping from one side to the other to try and get the smoothest line around the corners. plenty of nice trails. It is really nice round Thetford. It drains really well. Even if it had been raining, this would drain pretty well. But fingers crossed we won't get any seriously bad weather, and it will keep it nice and dry for us. Now there we just came to a crossroads, and we'll come back round to that in a little while, but it's quite nice. That's a nice vantage point to watch there. There is a good point to watch there if spectators want to view some of the race and can get out onto the course. Remembering that the course is open to the public, so you do have to be a little bit careful of other users, but it's never been too much of an issue. Now we're on to the second bit of single track. This is a bit tighter and a little bit sandy. Certainly it was when we raced last year. Not as sandy when I did this ride, but there are sandy sections, and you can see the trail I'm on is actually dipped in. So you've got the sidewalls buffering you up. So you need to keep fairly straight and keep a good idea where you're going. Comes into some trees. But again, you've seen there's little bits to overtake here and there on this part, but the first part of the single track, you are going to be held up if you've caught any back markers, perhaps on lap 3 or 4. That definitely happened to me in October. But again, nothing too serious, and those back markers were well aware and were happy to pull to one side slightly and let me through safely. So nothing too bad. And you've got to remember, no one's coming past you if you're probably a competent rider and can keep some speed on this. You're going to be pretty safe at not getting overtaken on this section. Again, it opens up into the trees. This is quite a long single track section, but it is fast, very flowing, not very technical. I'm not the most technical. You've got to watch it as you come out. There's some rocks each side, so that is quite narrow. Then we're onto the gravel. Nearly little dog didn't want to move out of the way there. We had a bit of a standoff, but nothing serious there. And we're back onto wide trails, and you're quickly building up to speed. And we were hitting some 25 mile an hour speeds on some of these trails at the last race. So this is coming up to the crossroads from the other direction, as I mentioned a bit earlier, so a good viewing point.
Right, that's probably just over half the course done, and so far I think it's a great improvement. They've took out some of the single track, which would cause bottlenecks and hold people up, so it's a lot more open, more overtaking to allow for the bigger field that will be racing here. They've also, there was a bit of a berm with a bit of gravel, a couple of people come down, that was quite nasty, that's gone. So to me, it's a lot safer, we should have no issues. There are still a couple of bits of single track, and I'm sure they could cause a few hold-ups on laps 3 and 4 maybe, as we catch the slower riders, or as people catch me, but I think on the whole, it will be pretty good and people will let you by. Now, regular viewers of my channel might wonder where I've been lately, because I haven't released any videos since the beginning of January, since the last cross race. I always like to have a break after cross, but this one's been a bit longer because I have been developing some products for cycling that I've now put live on my website for sale. One of the first products I've worked on is to hold your race number on your bike. Doing gravel racing last year, I found that most racers issue you a number, call it a number board, but obviously it's flexible, to go on the front of your bike. And you've got to either put it on there with cable ties, and it's very difficult to get on. I don't have an integrated handlebar, so my cables are surface, so I've got to work around those. Obviously, I've got a camera mount on there. I've got my Garmin computer. It's very difficult, and everyone seemed to struggle. It wasn't just me. People having to cut numbers, adapt them, which they don't like you doing. A lot of them have got the chip on the back for measuring your time, so you don't want to mess that up. So I thought, right, I need something for this year. I'm sure lots of other gravel racers need something for this year. So I've developed the race plate. And that attaches to your cycling computer mount via the GoPro adapter that most cycling computer mounts have on the bottom to attach an action cam to. I've made the thumb turns extra big so they're easy if you've got cold hands on the day or anything like that. Setting it up, just clip your number on, you're straight away. I was having to adapt it around cables last year because I don't have an integrated stem. It was getting in the way to try and attach it to the handlebar. You can see I've got a lot on here and I was having to cut numbers, which can damage the chip. We don't want that. So this goes on, really simple, really nice and easy, sturdy plastic, brilliant little product as far as I can see. Now, for some of you, I know the big concern. I know, we're all racers at heart. We all think we're the best. Now, some people are like, well, I don't want that big flappy number in the front of my bike. And that's you see a lot of moans at racers. Well, I've got you covered, guys. Race plate aero is here. Curved, okay? Exactly the same fitment. Fits via the GoPro mount. So this one would go on instead here, okay? You see pictures on the website. Mount your number on. You've got 4 different hole positions, so it should account for wherever the holes are in the number that you're given on the day. If not, you could soon punch another couple of holes in the corner to line up. Very easy, very simple. Hopefully, a lot of you will think that's a good idea. They are on the website, sbmdesigns.uk. I'll put a link down below. Also, for viewers of the channel, use the code TCC10. That's TCC10 for an extra 10%. I have already put them at a very special price for the first up until the end of the month, okay, till launch time. Then they will go up a little bit, and then they'll go up to full price probably the end of May. So don't miss out. Do get in there early while the pricing's good. I'm going to continue the lap and show you around.
So back on with the lap, and we're on the nice smooth trails. And these continue on, and they are, yeah, fantastic. There was a few boggy bits on last year's course where they'd had to do a diversion. This year, nothing like that at all. And like I say, they've taken out any little sort of gnarly bits that were a little bit, a couple of people had an off sort of thing. They've gone, reduced the single track. Another small bit of single track here, but this was quite nice. This really did flow through. There is no room for overtaking. You can see if you get offline here, you're pretty much in a ditch or impaling yourself on a tree, which I wouldn't advise. So you are going to need to be patient, position well at certain sections. So have a look at the course map. You can almost tell where the 3 or 4 single track sections are by the way the course gets a little bit windy on the route. But have a look, study it well, watch the video through a couple of times, because you're definitely going to want to know where that single track's coming up. But when you get back on this gravel section, it's great. Now there is a bit here coming up where we actually ride the course against the flow of the normal trail. And I was aware that I was going to be riding against the flow of the trail, so I was taking it a bit careful. It was midweek, it wasn't busy on the trails, so I am being careful. Otherwise I wouldn't have done this. But of course, I do meet a rider coming the other way on his mountain bike who did politely tell me, mate, you're going the wrong way, which I had realised, but I've give way. I was able to see him. I'm not going quick, but on race day they will have closed the trail, so we will be able to flow that way with no problems at all. Again, more single track, more double track. Turn on gravel there. I always feel a bit sketchy. You can actually see I slowed down even with the sped up footage. I don't like doing those tight turns. I don't want to come off. Now this section I particularly find harsh. It's basically ribbed under the grass, so you're constantly vibrating as you go over, and you can feel it straight up through your arms. So definitely something to think about. Keep a bit of a light grip, maybe just hover a bit. But yeah, that's probably the most uncomfortable surface we ride the whole lap on this course. So nothing too bad, like I say. It's all pretty good, to be fair. Now we're coming to a left turn here, and we are coming towards the back end of the lap. This is a very tight turn into this last section of single track, and it is important to get your position in here, because when you're coming in on the last lap, I managed to get in front of about 5 riders. If you watch my race video from last year, that's well worth watching, because there's even more of the course. Obviously some of it's changed, but more of how people were racing, how the start went. Definitely have a look at that one. I'll put a link in the description to that video for you. Keep your pace up on this section, and there's very little chance you'll be overtaken as you exit from this into the finish straight and launch your sprint for the finish.
Lap done, bike's loaded back up in the van. I really enjoyed that. I think the improvements are good. I really enjoyed it last time I raced it in October, I must say, but I like it even more. There's still a couple of bits. There's the bit of grass where it's washboardy, as I pointed out on the video, and there's a couple of tight turns that I think might hold us up a bit technical. So I'm going to have to brush up on my technical skills over the next couple of weeks. But on the whole, I really like it and I'm looking forward to it. I think there's still places left. If you haven't already signed up, check out the link below. Get signed up. Don't miss out. There's 6 races in the series, so you've only missed the first one. It's only 4 that count, so you can still score in the series if you want to do that. Or just come ride it for fun. Come have a gravel race. You will love it. Everybody is super friendly. Super, super friendly, just like cyclocross. It's not road racing where everyone gets a bit antsy sometimes. It's super friendly. Come and check it out. Start with one of the smaller events like this race, even for fun. We all like to be competitive. Check it out. Now, tyres. Got my 50mm Schwalbe G1R Pros on. I'm going with them again. I like them because there's quite a bit of dirt as well as gravel. It keeps it nice and smooth. Let me just not drop any litter. I was running 23 PSI today. Seemed pretty good to me. It's roughly what I normally run. I think it's right for the course. Didn't seem to be losing any grip, and it didn't seem super draggy or anything, so I'm happy with that. Probably my setup for the day there. I have got tyre inserts in these, but that's really for the Gralloch coming up later this month. So don't think you'll really need them for this one. I always carry a tyre plug. I've got the Dynaplug Racer that's strapped to my frame, so I've always got that ready with me. I've got a little pump. Sometimes I carry a CO2 or electric pump. You are out there, so you do need your own stuff. If you get stuck, it's quite a walk back to the finish. There is a pit, and you can put spare wheels, etc. in there, but you cannot change bikes. Be like mountain biking, you've got to finish on the same bike. So that's good. Hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, do me a favour, check out the race plate on the website, link down below, discount for you as well, extra and special pricing at the moment. Get orders in early and I'll make sure I get them out before this race to you.